Alright, so let's work on some adding and subtracting fractions. So we'll start with adding. So let's say we have fractions of 1/5 plus 1/7. So here we have fractions with unlike denominators. So first we need to find the lowest common denominator, or just a common denominator. If you don't find the lowest one, then you have to reduce at the end. But for this, 5 and 7, the lowest common denominator is going to be 35. So I have to rewrite both of these fractions with a denominator of 35. So this is times 5 and this one is times 7. So I have 7 over 35 plus 5 over 35. Now that I have a common denominator, it stays common throughout the problem. So I can just bring that over and then add my numerator. 7 plus 5 is 12. Alright, so now let's look at one where we'll have a little more work to do. So 2/3 plus 7/8. So again, first step, find a common denominator. Common denominator between 3 and 8 is going to be 24. So 3 times 8 is 24. And this one's times 8. So 8 times 2 is 16. 3 times 7 is 21. So again, you have a common denominator. It stays common throughout. So I add 16 plus 21 to get 37. So now I have an improper fraction. So 24 will go into 37 once, with 13 left over. So my final answer is 1 and 13/24. So subtracting fractions is like adding them, in that we have to find common denominators. So let's do 3/4 minus 1/3. So again, common denominator between 3 and 4 will be 12. Remember, once you have that common denominator, it stays throughout. So 4 times 3 is 12, and 3 times 4 is 12. So 3 times 3 is 9, 1 times 4 is 4, and then just subtract your numerators. 9 minus 4 is 5. 5/12 can't be reduced, so you're finished with that one. Let's do a couple more examples. And let's do a couple of mixed number ones. So we have 2 and 2/3 minus 1 and 7/9. So here you have two options. One is to make them improper fractions, or two, it's to borrow. So I'm going to first find the common denominator, which would be 9. So this would be 2, and this is times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So 2 and 6/9 minus 1 and 7/9. So here's where you have to make your decision. Am I going to use improper fractions, or am I going to borrow? And I'm going to show you both methods. So if you make them improper fractions, multiply and add. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 6 is 24, so I have 24/9. Minus 9 times 1 is 9, plus 7 is 16. Now I can subtract. 24 minus 16 is 8/9. If you choose to use the borrowing method, so we got 2 and 6/9 minus 1 and 7/9. So I'm borrowing from that 2, and I'm borrowing a whole. So a whole in terms of ninths is 9/9. So I need to add 9 to that 6. So the 6 becomes 15, and now I can subtract. 15 minus 7 is 8. Common denominator stays common, and 1 minus 1 is 0, so 8/9. So either way, I got an answer of 8/9. So you can either borrow or use improper fractions.